Hey everyone, it's Monday and I'm here. Wow, I'm starting to make it regular actually being here again, which is awesome. It's how it should be. So I have so much to talk about this week, and I'm feeling really good because I just got back from camping, and so I'm relaxed and it's a little bit sore from hefting wood and stuff, but generally I'm doing really well. So as you know, November is coming. Winter is coming. Um, and oh my God, there's a bug. There's a bug on my window that I kid you not is like 3 inches long. I'm really glad there's a screen there. Okay, sorry. I'm back. Wow. What is it about being on screen that makes me yawn? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, okay. So, with NaNoWriMo coming up in November, a lot of us like to spend the months of September and October actually planning for the upcoming event. It allows us time to have a basic idea for our stories and for going through and making sure we have all of the things that we need on hand, that we have a comfortable place to write, that family understands that for the next month they're not allowed to talk to us, um, unless we have a sign that says that we've written 2,000 words, they're not allowed to talk to us. So I mean, there's this wide variety of things that you can do in preparation. And I mean, really, the list of things you can do to prep is huge. And I don't want to waste a bunch of time with you. I'm going to be using the official NaNoWriMo prep stuff. Not so much because it will help me write my book, but because it helps me get into the right headspace for writing. And for me, getting out of editing mode and getting into writing mode is kind of a chore sometimes. And I like to take it kind of gradually. So, the let me see what I got here. I have a whole bunch of things to talk about. So if you're on my Facebook page and you follow me, it's Allyson Sabo. I actually talk about and it says the 4-week system that they're going through. It's not, it's 6. It's 6 weeks. I'm apparently was not awake when I was doing that, which is fine. So this week is September 13th through 19th, and it's the week is basically for developing ideas. And so the prep things that they have for this week, you can get the link on my Facebook, as I said. So the week 1 exercise is 4 ways to develop an idea. And so I'm actually doing it over 4 or 5 days. I'm going to do it every day this week. So the one that they say is borrow a plot. That's number 1, and that was the one I worked on today. So the first is write a summary of 3 books or movies or stories that you love. Include important characters, major plot turns, and settings. And the example they gave was Hunger Games. A teenage girl lives in a dystopian world where the USA has been divided into 13 districts, and every year children are chosen from each district to fight to the death. The teenage girl volunteers to fight in place of her sister. She tries to survive while also protesting against the evil capital and maybe falling in love. Okay, it's a very reasonable, fairly good short thing. So you write 3 of those, and then afterwards you choose one and you flip it. You do something different with it. You change the characters, change the setting, change a plot turn, use different adjectives and verbs, whatever else. And the idea is more to play with it than to come up with a finished product. This is not supposed to be, I'm writing my novel. Sorry, I'm writing my novel now. The idea is to get the creative juices flowing. So their example was, a teenage girl lives in a future where the oceans have risen and everyone lives on small islands. The water is controlled by pirates who demand a sacrifice each year to keep the island safe. The girl is chosen, but in a storm, she's rescued by a different kind of pirate ship, one made up of former would-be sacrifices who act as pirates against the pirates. And so that was the example that they gave. And I actually wrote mine up. I'm not going to read you the whole thing. You want to read them all, you can go on my Facebook page and you can read them all. But I did a summary of Farnham's Freehold, Outlander Book 1, and The Hobbit. And then I turned around the Outlander one because I kind of am looking at different stories right now. So I changed it to a man from the 1700s is thrust into the future where technology and people are incredibly different. He struggles to learn how to fit in and how to change his attitudes to fit this new reality. His inbred responses to certain scenarios get him into trouble frequently, and he is rescued by an understanding woman who takes him under her wing. So you can see how I did the flip thing, right? This is not a book I'm writing, by the way. If you want to write it, I'd love to read it. Feel free to steal that idea. But that's the basic idea of what you're going to do. And then the other ones they have are borrow a character. So I'll be doing that tomorrow. Invent a history or future for someone. Basically, the person who wrote this was like, I'm going to write a novel starring my great-great-grandmother someday. And she doesn't know anything about her great-great-grandmother, so she's just going to base it on pictures. And then find the story that you get from the character. So if the character is, in my example, my grandmother, I have a book started about her. What's the story? Well, the story is that she overcame an awful lot of hardship and did a lot of things that were very contrary to the time that she lived in order to get to Canada to live with my grandfather and be with him as his wife. So that's kind of how you're dealing with it. The third idea is picking an event from the news. Imagine it from the perspective of different people involved with it. So a story about a river flooding might include the single mother driving her 2 kids on a camping trip, the park ranger called in to help, the farmer who lives down the road, that kind of thing. The idea is to make up your own details, but to use the actual news as an idea. If you want to see good examples of this, or good and bad, you can go to any of the police procedural shows, NCIS, CSI, any of those ones. And they occasionally have ones called Ripped from the Headlines. And it's fictional accounts of real stories that happened. So that's something that you can play with. And the fourth one they have is a whole new world. They give you a bunch of different photos and they say scroll through them until you find something that sparks, and then pause and write questions and wonderings and ideas. What kind of place is this? How did it get this way? Who might live or travel through it? How do they feel? What's it like for them there? That sort of thing. Sorry, guys. So it's a fairly complex first week, and they have the link to the document. You can put it in your own Google Drive and then work from it, which is what I'm doing. And I'm actually sharing it on my author page, so you can feel free to go across there and actually read what I've written. Because, like I said, I know what I'm writing, so this is just kind of me getting back into writing headspace so that when November gets here, I'm ready to rumble, as it were. And so I'm going to basically do this every week for the 6 weeks. Put up the information, share it with you guys, and I'm hoping that some of you will share with me and maybe share on my Facebook page, email me, and stuff like that. I will be having some open room where I just kind of open up a chat room and people can come in and talk, ask for advice, help each other out, help answer questions for me. I mean, I'm sorry, when you get a bunch of group of authors together, somebody probably has the answer to your question. So what does a sucking chest wound sound like? I can help with that. I know. So that's where you go. I also wanted to talk about the book. I did an announcement for my book, which I'm very excited about. NaNoWriMo has a thing where you can actually sign up and write in what you're writing about. And you can put in novel cover and things like that. And they've shown over time that people who go in and do it kind of, you see the people that you're working with as people you're accountable to. And so it really helps a lot in keeping you focused and keeping you going. And when you hit a day where it's like, I can't write today, you think about, well, all those people are waiting to hear my story. I should really, maybe I'll put in another 10 minutes. And so it helps with that accountability. And I can't stress how important that is, because when you're the only person who's accountable to you, unless you're a member of that particular subset of personality that just chugs along, which I'm not a member of, just saying, it's so helpful. It's helpful to know that there are people out there who are cheering for me, who are interested in what I'm writing, who want to hear the next book. So with no further ado, I announce the acclamation accord, and I made up a little novel cover for it. Understand this is not the finished novel name, and this is not what the novel cover is going to look like, most likely. I don't do my own covers when it comes to my fictional novels, simply because I'm not an artist. I'm an author, and so I hire a professional artist to do my art. And thank you to Starla for that, by the way. Thank you, because she's really good. If you're planning on putting your books on Amazon or on a bookshelf where people are looking at that title and judging the book by its cover, I cannot stress how important having a good cover is. It really is helpful, because without it, it makes it people really do judge a book by its cover, and so it's worthwhile having that. It's a little expensive, it's a couple $100, maybe a bit more. But if you want to sell books, that's part of the cost of doing business. Now, that's if you're not doing traditional publishing. If you're doing traditional publishing, it's usually part of your contract. But in today's world, traditional publishing, one, isn't as important as it used to be, and two, isn't always the most effective way to get your book out. Sometimes you just hit it big through Amazon or Lulu or whichever program you're using, and it just turns out to be the right thing. So you do you. Feel free to write traditional publishers, and if you have information you'd like to share, I'd love that, because I'm not going the traditional publisher route. I'm very happily throwing my books out there on Amazon and letting them sink or swim on their own. Yay. So I'm writing about elves and dwarves and other fun things this weekend, this November. What are you writing about? Tell me, because inquiring minds want to know. And, if you want to have somebody to be accountable to, friend me on the Nano site. I'm Rev Allyson, Revall. Y'all can help me be accountable, and I can help you be accountable. Okay? Everything is virtual this year for NaNoWriMo. Thank you, COVID. So we're going to just deal with that by supporting one another online and being there for each other, and, having some back and forth conversation. I love you guys. Don't forget to subscribe and pass the video along if you think it's of use to anybody out there. And if you have any questions, please, write in the comments, write on my Facebook page. I'm there every day, and I love to talk to people. I do not have a large enough fan base that can't listen to all of you at this point. Have a great week. I hope your weekend was wonderful, and I hope that things are not getting you down. All right. Bye, guys. I'll see you next week, okay?